game, no matter who wins or loses. An unspeakable tragedy confirmed to us by ABC News in New York City. John Lennon, outside of his apartment building on the west side of New York City, the most famous perhaps of all of the Beatles, shot twice in the back, rushed to Roosevelt Hospital, dead on arrival.
You're talking about maybe a fourth of televisions in the country are tuned into a football game on a Monday night. Howard Cosell is announcing that, a member of the Beatles, the biggest rock band of all time, had just been tragically killed in New York. There was such an outpouring of grief, I think, not only in New York City, but around the world.
They are the young, they are the middle-aged. They are the people who didn't even know him, but who knew him well. The fans gathered here tonight who knew John Lennon through his music, through his songs, through his verses.
That sort of a symbol of peace, that he would be taken out in such violent and sort of senseless fashion, hit people hard.
His lyrics, his philosophy, his attitude toward life, his little signposts that he left along the way. He was a leader in everything.
Well, and finally, Rustin, looking back on this moment in history now 40 years later, what will stick with you from this story?
I think what will stick with me is these two characters of New York from the 1970s and the way in which they crossed paths. They weren't the best of friends, but they were kind of these characters and these symbols of a different New York. Just to hear their conversations together, 40 years later, is just offers you a little bit of window into that world, which I think is fascinating.
You're an interesting man and already a proven genius in your field. I've enjoyed it very much.
Thank you, Howard. So did I.
Well, thank you so much for telling us this story, Rustin.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
You can read Rustin Dodd's story about Howard Cosell and John Lennon at theathletic.com. From Wondery and The Athletic, I'm Kavitha Davidson. See you tomorrow.
Now there are more ways to be a team with Microsoft Teams. Bring everyone together in one space with a new virtual room. Collaborate live, drawing, sharing, and building ideas with everyone on the same page. And make sure more of your team is seen and heard with up to 49 people on screen at once. Learn more about all the newest Teams features at Microsoft.com/Teams.